Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondorian Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. And now this one is actually very special. This one is very cool. So the tension that has always been there pretty much between the Elves and Dwarves has finally escalated into something no less than a full-out war. Yes, this is a 3 versus 3 Elves versus Dwarves. We have one of each of the Elven factions versus 3 Dwarven armies. Now, before we actually begin to the army compositions or anything else, I would like to state that this is part 1 of 3. Me and Dark Elven King had the idea that we would do three battles with Elves versus Dwarves. I think I just said Dwelves there. Ooh, that would look weird, like a short person with basically just be a hobbit with really long hair and a beard. Anyway, I'm sorry. So it would be one battle in the open field, which is what we have here, and then 2 sieges, one with an Elven defense, one with a Dwarven defense. So, without any further ado, we will go straight off into the army compositions, starting with Dark Elven King because he sent me the replay. So a big thank you to him before we go any further. Now, he has 1 unit of Untitled Elder Nobles, which is where his general is. He has 1 unit of Elven Cavalry, which is a very, very fast cavalry, which means they can really easily go after archers, especially that of the Ironfoot crossbows because they're so slow, but because they are a light cavalry, they are very susceptible to arrow fire. Then he has 1 unit of Elder Enway Nobles, another nice cavalry unit, and 1 unit of Elder Enway Lancers. In addition to that, he has 3 units of Elder Enway Archers, a nice AP archer unit, but because they are heavy archers and they are AP, they do run out of ammo fairly quickly. He has 2 units of Sindar Blade Masters, 1 here, 1 here. 2 units of Elder Enway Swordsmen, 1 here, the other is right there. 1 unit of Smiths of Eregion, which is a very important unit in his army because it is one of the only, I think it might be the only AP melee unit besides maybe the Phallus Lords. And then he also has 2 units of Elder Enway Spearmen, 1 unit of Phallus Lords, and 1 Ballista. So a very nice high Elven army by Dark Elven King. It does seem that he went for definitely a quality over quantity, but that is pretty much always the case when you're playing as the Elves. His second army is the army of Lothlorien, being commanded by Master Blaster. Now he has 4 units of Sylvan Heavy Swordsmen, which is very surprising to me because the limit on how many you can get is 3 normally. Like the 4th one is a cost increase, and it increases the cost to almost 18. I think it's like 1,850 florins, almost 2,000 florins, which I was very surprised that he would actually do that. Just because you could put that into like Sindar Blade Masters, which are much better than the Sylvan Heavy Swordsman. He also has 4 units of Sylvan Heavy Spearmen, which again, the 4th one did increase from 700 to 1,100. 2 units of Sylvan Axemen, which is definitely a unit that I think is wise to bring just because it is armor piercing, which will be very important against the Dwarves. I probably would have brought a couple more of those as well as some Woodland Warriors. He has 2 units of Sylvan Silver Spears, 2 units of Sylvan Heavy Archers, 1 unit of Sindar Archers, 1 Catapult, 1 unit of Galadrim Veteran Warriors, which is where his general is. Okay, yeah. And then he also has 1 unit of Galadrim Mounted Company. Okay, and then we will now go to the last Elven army, which is being commanded by Modslayer 2. He has 2 units of Here Ydir, the nice sword shield unit for the Woodland Realms, 2 units of Here Lang, a Ballista. His general's unit is the Elder Palace Guard, who are very, very expensive, but very, very good. Similar to the Elder Nobles in Melee, I believe. I could be totally wrong about that, I don't know. Is when you have Elder Kingsguard, 2 units of Elder Pathfinders, 1 unit of Avari Elder Pikemen, 2 units of Here Bang, 2 units of Here Neck Spearmen, and he might have some Sindar Blade Masters hidden somewhere, but I'm not too positive about that. Okay, so now we will go to the Dwarven Armies. The first is being commanded by Mr. Tot, and so it's funny because if I talk about this too much, then I'm sure I'm going to go on a rant for probably 12 years or something. But the Dwarves basically just camp. All 3 armies just go straight over here and just camp the entire game. And their excuse for doing this was because of the balance of power and because of something that happens pretty early game concerning cavalry. Now, I was very, very put out by this because I feel like it was a close battle, even with the Dwarves camping, but still, I feel like it might have been even closer probably if it was in the open field. Now, anyway, Mr. Tot has 0 skirmishers of any kind, I believe. Yeah, he has no crossbowmen, no axe throwers, or anything, so he was definitely leaning on his allies for that arrow support. Well, missile support, more like. Because the only thing that he has that is missile of any kind is his catapult. Now, his army composition consists of 1 unit of Sons of Durin, 2 units of Hammers of Gundabad, 2 units of Axemen of Erebor, 1 unit of Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin, which is where his general is, 2 units of Erebor Infantry, which are very nice because of their AP, 1 unit of Ironfoot Guard, 1 unit of Dwarven Noblemen, 1 unit of Guards of Khazad-dûm, 1 unit of Mithril Guard, and 1 unit of Sons of Fallen. So definitely a quality over quantity, which is good being as the dwarves because they can stand their ground very firmly against pretty much anyone in the game. However, because of their small unit numbers, they can be overrun by orc factions. However, they really don't have to worry about that because they are facing elves who are also small in numbers. Then he also has 2 units of Ironfoot Wargoats and 1 unit of Ironfoot Hammer Guard. And now we'll go over to the second army, which is being commanded by the Grinch. And he has... Oh, did I say his Mr. Tot has a catapult? I think I did. Anyway, the Grinch has 1 ballista, 2 units of Ironfoot Wargoats, 2 units of Ironfoot Crossbowmen, 1 unit of Sons of Fallen, 1 unit of Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin, 1 unit of Dwarven Noblemen, 1 unit of Erebor Infantry, 1 unit of Sons of Durin, 1 unit of Mithril Guard, 1 unit of Guards of Khazad-dûm, who, I believe they might have been in Vanilla Third Age, and they really are very good. Not quite as good as the Mithril Guard, but they still are very, very good. He has 1 unit of Khazad-dûm Reclaimers, which are an axe thrower unit. They have, it's pretty much like javelins, but they have a massive output damage for their axes. 1 unit of Hammers of Gundabad, 1 unit of Khazad Sentries, and finally 1 unit of Axemen of Erebor. And now we will go to the last army composition, which is what's his name? Donald Kingslayer is the one commanding it. Now his general is in the front lines. Actually, he is in this unit of Mithril Guard. And then besides that, he has 1 unit of Ironfoot Pikemen, 2 units of Hammers of Gundabad, 1 unit of Sons of Fallen, 1 unit of Guards of Khazad-dûm, 2 units of Erebor Infantry in the front line, 1 unit of Ironfoot Warriors, which are nice because as they are much cheaper than their Ironfoot Guards. No, is that what they're called? You know, the ones that are black and have like swords. Well, they're cheaper than that kind of them, but they you can have like 4, 5, 6 maybe before the price is increased, and they also have AP, so it's very, very, very cost effective. And he has 1 unit of Axemen of Erebor, 2 units of Ironfoot Axe Throwers in a nice position on this hill. 3 units of Ironfoot Crossbows. 1 is here, 2 are here. 1 is back here. 1 catapult, 1 unit of Blacklock Engineers, and 1 unit of Ironfoot Halberds, as well as 1 unit of Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin. Now, Donald Kingslayer was the first to pitch his tent, so to speak, so all of his allies will be trying to make his way over to him to camp. Now, 1 second. I don't know if I actually have... Oh, the vegetation detail and the grass detail. Let me see here. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so as you can see over here, Mr. Tot is going to use his cavalry to kind of cover the... It's not really a retreat, more just the march of his army, which because the dwarves are so slow, even if they were running, they still would take a very, very long time to get all the way over there. So he is going to have to really rely on his Ironfoot Wargoats and Hammer Guard to bring his army safely to the other side. Otherwise, the Elven Cavalry would very easily be able to just smash into the back of his army. So because the Grinch notices that if all the Elven Cavalry does focus down over here by Mr. Tot wouldn't have enough cavalry over there to help, to support his army. The Grinch is bringing over his 2 units of Ironfoot Wargoats to help. And you can see that Mr. Tot is gonna try to meet the Grinch's Wargoats in the middle, but he's not gonna do it too hard because otherwise that would leave his army open to attack from cavalry. But however, at the moment, the Elven Cavalry is stationary. Well, they're marching, but they're not going after anyone at the moment because the elves are just trying to kind of meet up and fight out, like just trying to figure out what they're gonna do. However, you can see Master Blasters mounted at Galadrim Company starting to move forward. Oh, I also forgot to mention that Mod Slayer 2 has Woodland Sentinels as well as Hinny Dower. The Woodland Sentinels are a nice pick because they're not too expensive and they are AP. However, they are, oh, gone now. They are lightly armored, so they can be out-skirmished very easily. Oh, okay, the Grinch actually also has a unit of Ironfoot Hammer Guard. I actually could not find his general. The Grinch's, I don't know where it is. Okay, so you can see that the Grinch has almost made it. His ballista is having a little bit of trouble, but his main army is pretty much there to the camp set up by Donald Kingslayer. It's actually kind of funny how much I get triggered by camping like this because I wasn't even in the battle, but still, I really do not like it when people camp. Yeah, it looks like the Grinch is trying to move this unit of Hammer Guard over here just to kind of protect his ballista in case any Elven Cavalry thinks they want to try and go after it. But in terms of targets for the Elves, I believe they were definitely going for the catapults, like the artillery of any kind, as well as skirmishers. However, luckily for Mr. Tot, because he did not bring any skirmishers, he did not open that target to the Elves. Okay, yes, now you can see the Elven Cavalry starting to come into play. You can see the Galadriel Mountain Company here, and you can see all 3 units of Dark Elven King's Cavalry here, the Elven Cavalry, the Elven Nobles, and Elven Lancers. And on this side, you will begin to see, yes, the Pathfinders have not been mobilized quite yet, but trust me, they will come over to help fight against the Ironfoot Wargoats. Now, the thing about the Ironfoot Wargoats is they are very slow, but if they can charge into any like infantry or archers or anything like that, it will be an absolutely devastating charge. I don't know how well they can do in melee though, just because I have not played with them too often actually since 0.86 came out, or since 0.9 came out. I played a lot of Dwarves in 0.86, but since 0.9 I have not really played much of the Dwarves. Okay, so you can see Dark Elven King trying to charge in his Imladris Cavalry right into the back of these Ironfoot Wargoats, which will get quite a few nice kills. However, he is going to be surrounded by these 2 units of Ironfoot Wargoats. Yes, wow, look at that. That unit that was at 31 is down to 24, so... Yeah, I was actually very surprised that the Imladris Cavalry was able to escape that with only minimal losses, despite being almost completely surrounded. Over here you can see the Elven Nobles have done the same thing to this unit of Ironfoot Wargoats, and have brought them down quite a bit, but it looks like they actually took more losses than the... Oh no, this is the Mounted Company. They took quite a few losses. Okay, yeah, and you can see the Pathfinders and Kingsguard of Mod Slayer 2 beginning to come into play. Is that all that? No, it says 24. Okay, they're up here. I was a little confused. I was like, wait. How come it says 24 if there's only 5 of them? Or no, 6 of them. So you can see that the Dwarven Cavalry is trying to reform the lines. I don't think they really want to go after the Elven Cavalry because that would expose this catapult, as well as just the units over here. But that's the main thing that's bad about the Wargoats, is they are extremely, extremely slow. Okay, yeah, so the Hammer Guard with these Ironfoot Wargoats will do a very nice job against this Mounted Company. As you can see, they're already down to 13. So, Master Blaster, I believe, is really going to have to be careful with his cavalry because he does not have much left. Over here, you can see the Imladris Cavalry side by side with the Elven Lancers fighting against this unit of Ironfoot Wargoats. And you can also see Mr. Tot bring over another unit of Wargoats to kind of surround this unit of Elven Lancers, which is going to take casualties. Quite a lot of them, actually. Yeah, they're down to 17, and they're not even out of the fight yet. However, you can see the Pathfinders about to charge straight into the back of this unit of Ironfoot Wargoats. Oh yes, look at that. The Ironfoot Wargoats will definitely fall quickly to the Elder Pathfinders, because I do believe the Elder Pathfinders have a effectiveness against cavalry. And so that is why the Grinch bring over his Hammer Guard, as well as Mr. Tot is bringing over his Hammer Guard and Ironfoot Wargoats. Yeah, more on camping. I really did not like how their excuse... Oh, look at that. A nice charge by the Elven Cavalry. I said earlier how they were fast. Just going right under the nose of these Ironfoot Wargoats and smashing square into Mr. Tott's cavalry crew. Definitely crippling it, but not so much as to like where it would not be able to fire. It still can fire with 13 crew members left. However, they are just marching away, and as you can see, they are paying for it. They are losing numbers quite quickly. But, okay, yeah, there we go. They're now they're running. But over here, you can see that the Pathfinders and Kingsguard have definitely done very well against the Wargoats. They're just absolutely destroying all of the Dwarven Cavalry that is over here, including the Hammer Guard, which are down to 4 on this unit. You can see the Mounted Company, the Lancers, the Elven Cavalry, but I believe the Nobles of Dark Elven King is still back there with the rest of his army, but I could be wrong on that. And this catapult crew seems a little bit shell-shocked because they're having trouble moving their catapults now. Okay, nice charge by the Elven Lancers into these Ironfoot Wargoats. However, oh yeah, they're about to be surrounded. But the Mounted Company kind of prevents some of them from surrounding. But unfortunately for the Elven Lancers, if they do not receive support soon, then they will fall very quickly. The Elven Cavalry is just kind of sitting by and watching. However, the Elder Pathfinders are going to help and charge into this surrounding unit of Ironfoot Wargoats, which will allow 9 of the Elven Lancers to escape. No, 6 of the Elven Lancers to escape with their lives. Over here, though, you can see that yeah, the Dwarven Cavalry has just been completely taken out by the combined forces of the Elven Cavalry. Those Pathfinders that came in later into the cavalry fight definitely paid, or definitely did the most damage against the Ironfoot Wargoats. I believe both units of the Hammer Guard now are actually completely destroyed. No, as I say that, there's one right here that still has 10. Oh, but you can see right here the Galadrim. No, yeah, the Galadrim Mountain Company are trying to do a rear charge into these Mithril Guard. However, that is submitting them to fire from these Ironfoot crossbowmen who are up on this hill. However, only taking 2 losses, surprisingly, to the crossbows. Yep, okay, so you can see the Elven Cavalry and Elven Lancers fighting against these Ironfoot Wargoats, and you can see these Pathfinders against the Hammer Guard. The Hammer Guard will be able to do good against the Pathfinders, but eventually, just because of their low numbers, they will fall. And the Ironfoot Wargoats did take some casualties, but they were able to fend off these depleted units of Elven Lancers and Elven Cavalry. And you can see the King's Guard now beginning to fight against the Hammer Guard, and doing a good job of it, because I'm almost positive that they at least have a effectiveness against Cav. And you can see that the Dwarves are not happy about how they're losing cavalry, so they are going to try to move forward some crossbows, as well as you could see the ballista firing at the cavalry, because now this actually is one of my favorite maps so far. I unfortunately don't play it very often, but I do enjoy playing the map when I actually do play it. Okay, and that looks like it was the last Ironfoot Wargoat, and I believe the Hammer Guard is all dead as well. So this was another reason why they said that they were camping, because oh no, the Ironfoot Wargoats are over here. But yeah, they said that the reason they were camping so hard was because the balance of power, which I don't know why that would really come into play, as well as the fact that their cavalry all died that early in the battle. But ooh, they sniped one of the Elven Lancers, but they shot a whole bunch of their own Ironfoot crossbows. But yeah, so the reasons for camping were because of the balance of power and because they lost their cavalry so early into the battle. But in my opinion, I feel like they can't even use the cavalry as anything, because that was their own fault that they lost their cavalry. Oh, yeah, so catapult crew, I believe, did abandon their catapult in order to try to escape. No, there's just one of them left, so it wouldn't be enough to fire the catapult, I believe, anyway. So that was a very, very important thing that the Elves did right there by taking out, well, for their side anyway, by taking out the catapult crew. However, you can see that especially Dark Elven King's cavalry has taken a beating. Oh well, actually also the Lothlorien player, because I believe he only had like 5 Mounted Galadrim Company left, and I don't know exactly where they are. Yeah, this battle did seem definitely fun. I actually, I'm gonna hopefully try to be in one of the, well, I would like to be in both of the sieges for the Dwarves versus Elves series. But I really don't envy the Elven players right here having to attack this Dwarven camp. If it was me, I would just open up YouTube, watch some videos. I would just like I would just keep my position where I was for the moment anyway, and maybe just watching YouTube for a while, see if they had moved at all. Because I wouldn't. I mean, like that mean pretty much I was camping, but if I saw them move, then I would move out into the field and meet them like in the middle. I wouldn't just like sit back and camp there, because that's just as bad as what the dwarves are doing. You can see over here that the Grinch is deploying, as well as Mr. Tot are deploying most of their infantry back here, because they do know that the Elven archers can definitely they can just wipe out anything that is shock infantry. So they're retreating all of their shock infantry and putting it back here at the back of the hill, which is a smart idea, because the elves, because of their AP arrows, would be able to absolutely slaughter the shock infantry. Yeah, that's Mr. Tot's general. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and take a survey of the cavalry fight. Yeah, you can see a lot of dead Ironfoot warriors right here. I believe that was where the Elder Pathfinders first charged in. Over here, though, it's yeah, there still are a lot of dead goats, but there's a bit of dead Elven cavalry there as well. The crossbowmen taking up positions here, right in front of the noblemen, dragon slayers, and airborne infantry. Ooh, yeah, Donald Kingslayer is making almost a complete circle with his forces on this hill. However, you will see this unit of Mithril Guard take an absolute beating from the archers, but yeah, I don't know how wise it was to put your general in the front lines that early on in the battle. I mean, I can understand it later in the battle when you're thinning out, sort of, but that early on, I was very surprised by. Okay, so yeah, it does look like the elves are beginning to move forward and are going to try to skirmish down their opponents before throwing themselves upon that dwarven camp. Okay, yeah, so Master Blaster also looks like a couple units of Sindar Blade Masters, in addition to all of his other stuff. And maybe Mudslayer 2 has Sindar Blade Masters? I don't quite know. But yeah, I definitely like the aesthetic that is given to the Lothlorien Spearmen, Axemen, and Heavy Swordsmen when you give them the armor upgrades. I think they look very, very cool, because they look straight up from the 2 towers in the Helm's Deep, which I'm sure is what they were going for. But surprisingly, the Sylvan Heavy Archers actually do not get that blue and gold aesthetic when they are given armor upgrades. But I believe that's just because they can only be given 1 rather than 2, like the Sylvan Axemen and Swordsmen and Spearmen. In terms of elves, though, my favorite faction probably would be Lothlorien, but not far behind would be the High Elves. They are definitely very sick. I just like the look. I just like their armor. It looks very nice. And I do like the Woodland Realms too, but just not as much as the other 2 Elven factions. And of course, the Dwarves are very good. They're an absolute powerhouse infantry faction. However, I don't like them because, well, I don't like them as much as the Elves or like Gondor. Or they're actually probably one of my least favorite factions, just because of how slow they are. But besides that, they are very great. They are just terrible to get out in defenses, in sieges, and apparently also in pitch battles. I don't know what this catapult is aiming at, but I'm sure he'll move it over here once the elves begin to come in range. So, of course, like any battle, this is going to begin with a skirmish. You can see the ballista right here, and you can see the archers beginning to move forward. Yeah, the Cinder archers, the Lothlorien heavy archers, and I don't know where the... Okay, yeah, the Elven archers are back here, and the Woodland Realm seems to be kind of just sitting back here for now. I don't know if he was AFK for a little while or something, but he will march over here. Don't worry, he's not gonna just wait back there and leave his allies to just leave his allies to themselves. So Lothlorien is going to be the first in the skirmish fight, moving forward his 2 units of Sylvan heavy archers as well as his Sindar archers, but not going to bring forward his Galadrim veteran warriors. It looks like. Not far behind him, though, you can see the Elder Enway archers of Dark Elven King beginning to move forward. Okay, yeah, here comes Mudslayer. He's moving forward his troops now. Which is very important because they're going to need all the arrows that they can get to spray down these dwarves before they can actually engage in melee, because one-on-one, the dwarves will be able to beat the elven infantry, mostly because of their AP. The catapult looks like it seems to be, yeah, the catapult seems to be going for the ballista, but I thought for a second it might have been going for the Elden Way archers, but no, it looks like it was going for the ballista. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Okay, so yeah, now the Galadrim veteran warriors are moving forward, as well as some infantry from Master Blaster. It looks like. Interesting. Ballista is trying to move forward into range. I assume it's going to be going for the catapult and not the infantry just yet. However, once it has taken out the ballista or catapult, it would be very wise to go after some of these expensive units here with the ballista. I believe it probably would have been better though for Donald Kingslayer to leave the fire off, because the fire is more inaccurate than the normal stone shot. However, obviously the fireballs do more damage to infantry, not to buildings. Ooh, that looks like it might. Yep. Oh, whoa. Okay. Must have landed like a centimeter in front of the ballista, because that looked like it hit it. Oh man, that was very close for the Cinder archers. They're a very expensive unit. Okay, looks like, yeah, the catapult is trying to take some shots at this Dwarven defense, which is a very good idea because these units are on shield wall. If you hit one of them, it's going to take out like half the unit. Whose catapult is that? That looks like, yeah, Lothlorien's catapult. I think we'll just kind of speed this part up a little bit, because it's just the artillery firing. Oh, taking out a couple iron for the axe throwers right there. See what's left of the Elven Lancers. Looks like they might be trying to maybe squeeze through here and go after the Ironfoot axe throwers. No, they're just waiting there. Okay, yeah, and these Sindar archers and Sylvan heavy archers are moving forward. Wow, they are getting very, very close. I don't know quite what they're firing at. Yeah, I don't know why they got so close, because it looks like now they're getting fired upon by the crossbows. No, they're not. Never mind. Oh, okay, okay. So it looks like the Lothlorien archers are going after the Grinch's crossbowmen, who, because they are in loose formation, will not take as many casualties as if they were in tight, but they will fall relatively quickly. Oh, and you can see he's also targeting the Grinch's ballista crew, which is already down to 13. Oh, that's where his general was. The Grinch's general was in the ballista. Okay. I haven't seen that in a while. Although, if he's not careful, his general is gonna die, which would be very unfortunate for him this early into the battle before the melee has even begun. And see this, you can see this Ironfoot crossbowman unit has taken a beating from the Lothlorien archers. Ooh, it's getting shot like crazy. Over here, though, you can also see that the Elder and Way archers are beginning to fire. I believe they're... Oh! Yeah, there goes the Grinch's general. I guess that's what happens when you put your general there. Oh, and all of Donald Kingslayer's catapults have been taken out by the ballista of the High Elves. So it looks like the Elder and Way archers are firing at the Mithril Guard as well as the Erebor infantry. However, because they are both of these units are shielded units with very high defense values, it will be able to tank quite a few shots before going down. Ooh, a nice hit on the catapult crew. However, if I were Dark Elven King, I'd be more tempted rather to go for the Axemen of Erebor, or even move them up a little bit closer and go after these crossbowmen or halberds even. Because when you're having when you have a bow and arrow, even if it's AP, it's not super wise, I guess I should say, to fire at shielded units. Oh, you can see what was left of the Grinch's Warghosts are charging forward after these archers. The Galadriel Mountain Company trying to do their best to hold them off, but also you could see that the Ironfoot Warghosts are just getting shot to death by these Cinder archers from point blank. Also, because the Cinder archers are a general's bodyguard unit, well, they were in the original game, they will be able to deal with the Ironfoot Warghosts in melee relatively easy. Yeah, only losing one guy right there. Yeah, you can see Mr. Tot putting his units over here as well. But most of his army is back here in this formation. Yeah, and it looks like the Grinch is also over on this area. Yeah. Ooh, the catapult is now going for the axe throwers? Interesting. I would probably try to go for the Dragon Slayers or the Guards of Khazad-dûm. Oh, nice hit on the Hammers of Gunabad though, and you can see now that the Mithril Guard now the Mithril Guard are going to take some casualties, not only from the ballista but also from the Elder and Way archers with flaming shot on. And you can see that Donald Kingslayer did not I'm sorry, I can't talk. Last time I filmed late, today I filmed early. Oh, another good hit by the catapult on the Hammers of Gunabad. Yeah, so Donald Kingslayer did not think highly of those two catapult hits, so he is going to retreat his pikemen and his Hammers of Gunabad. Which kind of does leave this area open, but not really, because I mean there's just so much of infantry of his allies on this side. He's probably fine if he leaves the area open. Yeah, okay, so the catapult crew, it looks like, is going to be going after these Sindar archers. Obviously not to try to kill them, because they will be able to do no damage. But more just to stop them from firing for a little while. Ooh, now it looks like the catapult is targeting the Mithril Guard. Those poor Mithril Guard. I'm actually surprised that his general has not fallen yet, because you can see the Mithril Guard have taken quite a few casualties already. And it was actually not bad to fire these airborne infantry, because it probably did shave off maybe a couple maybe their hit points. Doesn't look like they actually took any casualties. No, they took 2. So yeah, maybe they took off a couple hit points. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Dang, it looked like the general just tanked that ballista shot. Yeah, okay, it looks to me like this unit of Sylvan Heavy Archers is out of ammo. Yeah, and this one too. So so they are beginning to run out of ammo, which is very bad for the Elves, because they have not done as much damage as they definitely would have liked to with their arrows. So it is definitely looking good for the Dwarves at the moment. Okay, yeah, now the Elves are turning their attention to the Guards of Khazad-dûm, which are very, very deadly in melee. Also, I got a comment on my last video about getting some music probably for my videos, which I would like to do, but just I haven't been able to find any royalty-free music that actually is long enough. So I am still trying to figure that out, but yeah. I'm just trying to figure that out at the moment. Dang, okay, so this Mithril Guard is all the way down to 11. They were at like 31 or something. Now they're down to 11. Well, in the beginning they were at like 31. Ooh. Guards Khazad-dûm are already down to 22. Okay, yeah, so now the Woodland Realms has brought his archers into play, which is very good because the Lothlorien player is pretty much completely out of ammo. It looks like this unit of Elden Ring archers is also out of ammo, yeah. Dark Elven King is going very, very close with his Elden Ring archers, but yeah, he's firing at the Mythical Guard still. Ooh, almost every single one of those arrows hit. Okay, yeah, so he is retreating his Guards of Khazad-dûm now, but not his Mythical Guard. I don't know if he was just doing that just because he wanted to tank all of these arrows, so the rest of the army did not have to. But it was actually pretty dangerous for him, I thought, just because his general is in this unit. But luckily for him, the general is in the back row, so he's not getting pummeled by arrows like the rest of his men are. The Hindi Dower looks like they're going to be taking up positions close to the Elden Ring archers. Okay, so he has turned off fire arrows now. Oh my gosh, they're just tanking so many arrows. Like this is a very tough position for the elves because yes, this unit is very deadly in melee, but I feel at this point, since there are only 11 of them, it would be better just to turn your attention arrow-wise to another unit, like maybe these Axemen of Erebor, even the Ironfoot Warriors because they have lower defense values. Or maybe just even save him till later in the battle, because later in the battle, when you're going to be completely out of arrows, whereas the dwarves have completely healthy units of Ironfoot crossbows. Oh, okay, so Donald Kingslayer retreated his Guards of Khazad-dûm behind the Sons of Fallen, which does mean that the Sons of Fallen are going to be getting shot at, but it means that the Guards of Khazad-dûm won't be. So, okay, so it looks like, yeah, it looks like Lothlorien is getting ready to do a full-on charge with all of their infantry. You can see his archers that are out of ammo going to move up first, but it seems to me that he should probably wait a little bit at least for his infantry to get here, because his archers will be cut down relatively easily without support. And if you give the archers support, especially elven archers, elven heavy archers, they will do actually not bad at all in melee. Okay, it's charging straight into the Mithril Guard. I would have maybe tried to like sneak around, like just go up this hill. Oh, actually, yeah, it looks like that's what he's doing. But they are going to be cut off by the Sons of Fallen and the Guards of Khazad-dûm, who are down to 13. Yep, 11, 42. Yep, okay, yeah. He has pushed forward all of his units, which I don't know if he told his allies or not that he was going to do this. No, he's not pushing forward all of his units, just his cheaper units, looks like the Silver Spears and the Sylvan Axemen. But I feel like if he's going to push forward like that much of his army, I feel like he should just push forward everything, which also means that I think all the allies should push forward all of their infantry as well, because if you attack in waves like this, especially against Dwarven defenses, you will not be able to win. And so yeah, it does look like the Elven archers of Dark Elven King are going to be moving forward and charging right to the side of these Erebor infantry. Okay, yep. There goes Donald Kingslayer's general. And it looks like there's only a couple Mithril Guard left. 4 of them, actually. Okay, the depleted unit of Hammers of Gundabad are now charging forward to kind of fill the gap which was opened up by the Axemen and Sindar archers. Guards of Khazad-dûm will be able to do very well against the Sylvan Heavy Archers as well as the Silver Spears. But Donald Kingslayer is bringing forward more units of infantry like the Ironfoot Pikemen, the Axemen of Erebor, and then Mr. Tot is also bringing forward his Ironfoot Guard. I believe the Ironfoot Guard are going to be used to try to flank around.
Pray something changes in the course of battle, for defeat seems almost certain.
Yeah. I mean, this is a large portion of infantry. I mean, I really feel like if he had pushed forward everything, okay, so he is moving forward the rest of his units. But if he had pushed everything forward at once, and then his allies had also helped him, I feel like he would have been able to do better. Okay, you can see the axe throwers, and I believe the crossbowmen. Yeah, they have moved forward and are going to try to shoot down into this blob of elven troops. Oh, you can see a lone horseman charging straight into the Dragon Slayers of Erd Mithrin. Oh, he actually killed one. Ooh, the ballista is firing at the Ironfoot crossbows, and now the Grinch is moving forward his unit, well, one of his units of Axemen of Erebor. No, he only has one unit of Axemen of Erebor, my bad. No, the Ironfoot Guard weren't going to surround, they were just sitting there. Okay, yeah, so Master Blaster is bringing forward all the rest of his infantry, but actually not his veteran warriors, or yeah, just not his veteran warriors, or a couple units of swordsmen, it looks like. Okay, yeah, and so the Grinch, noticing that these spearmen are trying to flank around, is going to charge right into the back of these spearmen with the Axemen of Erebor, who will be able to do very well against the spearmen. However, the main line for the Dwarves is looking pretty thin. They just got a thin row of pikemen, a couple of random Sons of Fallen, and a little bit of Erebor infantry on this side, which is why he's bringing down these Ironfoot halberds to kind of strengthen this area right here where the pikemen are. And yes, now the Ironfoot Guard are going to flank around the backs of these elderly archers. Okay, yeah, so you can see more Elven Way archers and the ballista crew of Dark Elven King, because I believe his ballista is out of ammo at this point. And the catapult crew of Master Blaster, because his catapult is out of ammo. Yep, okay, and you can also see some Sindar Blade Masters, some cavalry. Yeah, okay, now it looks like it is going to be the push by the elves. You can see all of Dark Elven King's infantry being pushed forward, as well as the last couple of units of Master Blasters. And it looks like over here, Modslayer 2 is just kind of taking his time about things. But I believe he probably should push forward with his ally, or with his allies, I should say. Okay, yep. So this Ironfoot Guard is that was flanking has actually now been outflanked by another unit of Elven Archers, as well as some ballista crew. And some Sylvan Heavy Swordsmen by Master Blaster. And so Mr. Tot is now bringing forward his Sons of Fallen, as well as his Guards of Khazad-dûm, who are completely healthy. Yes, so he is going to try to either flank around or just like bolster his line right here. Okay, yep, here comes some Dragon Slayers of Erd Mithrin from Donald Kingslayer, as well as a second unit of Axemen of Erebor. Ooh, yeah, these Sylvan Elves have definitely thinned out. You can really tell that the AP of the Dwarves is starting to take its toll on the Elves. Very heavily armored Elves. You can see just a little while ago it was definitely the Sylvan Elves who had the upper hand in this front line, but now it is definitely the Dwarves who have that advantage. Oh, dang, oh yeah, the catapult crew got up here, got up amongst these Ironfoot axe throwers, who have taken a beating from arrows, it looks like. Okay, yep, you can see the Grinch beginning to move forward some units, because yes, Modslayer has moved forward his archers Yeah, he should probably move some infantry, otherwise his archers are going to get caught in melee by these uh, heavily armored dwarven units right here. However, if he wanted to, he would very easily be able to outrun them with his archers. Would easily be able to outrun the airborne infantry and everything else that's right here. Okay, no, it just looks like Grinch is setting up another position right here. Okay, yeah, so he is... Yeah, okay. So... yeah, I don't know. It's a tough position that Lothlorien was in, because they're still not getting great support from their allies. I mean, you can see the High Elven infantry just sitting back here, as well as the Woodland Realms infantry just sitting back there. But again, I really feel, even though they are taking lots of casualties from the axe throwers and such, I feel like he probably should have just pushed forward all of his infantry at one time, just to try to overwhelm the dwarves. And I feel like things would have gone a lot better if his allies had done the same. Not in the same area, of course, but just all the way around. Ooh, okay, there go the Dragon Slayers again. Ironfoot Warriors are kind of in a weird position. And you can see some Sylvan Heavy Spearmen fighting against these Sons of Fallen. Which I would actually be kind of interested to see who would come out on top in this battle. Or just this one, because the Sons of Fallen are like facing that way. Oh, a nice nice charge right into the back of these Ironfoot Warriors by Dark Elven King's Elven Nobles. Okay, yep, so you can see okay, yeah, Monster 2 is pushing forward his units of archers. But again, he's essentially just throwing his archers away when he could be using them to support his main infantry line. So I like that might be kind of an unwise move. Oh. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say it looks like things have kind of turned back in favor of these Sylvan Elves, because this line is beginning to thin yet again for the dwarves, except for in just a few little pockets. Like, yeah, right here and here, but right here it's very thin. Ooh, you can see some ballista firing. Ooh, taking out a large portion of those Dragon Slayers. Oh, that's absolutely terrible for the dwarves, because that is a very expensive unit. Okay, yeah, so the Grinch is noticing that his ally is starting to struggle against the elves, so he is going to bring forward some of his infantry over this way. Oh, actually, I take it back, not some, all of his infantry. As well as Mr. Tot and Kingsley, yeah. So, just all the dwarves are starting to push more infantry towards the front line against these Sylvan Elves. These Galadrim veteran warriors will be able to do very, very well against pretty much any unit that the dwarves has, but the Dragon Slayers will be able to take a large portion of them. Yeah, the Dragon Slayers will be able to do a great deal of damage to the Galadrim veteran warriors. You can see these Axemen of Erebor are very depleted. They're down to already 16. Ironfoot Guard is down to 10. And the cycled charges of Dark Elven King have definitely paid off, because you can see this Ironfoot Warriors unit is all the way down to 13. Ooh, however, you can see a lot of Elven Nobles going down to, I believe, either crossbow fire or axe throwers. I don't know which it was. I don't quite know what Modslayer is doing over here with his Pathfinders, but yeah, he's got some Pathfinders over here. Maybe he was, oh, actually, I bet he was charging forward into these units over here, which is not a bad idea. Even though it is an uphill charge, it would not be a bad idea at all to charge into these Axemen of Erebor and Hammers of Gundabad. Okay, yep, and the Grinch has brought forward his Khazad-dûm Reclaimers, which will be able to do a great deal of damage to the Elves. Looks like those axe throwers are out of ammo. Okay, yeah, you can see the crossbowmen have now moved forward more, which will allow them to fire straight point blank into the infantry if they wanted, but looks like they're deciding to instead go for the cavalry. Okay, yep, this looks like, yeah, this looks bad. This looks bad for the Sylvan Elves, because you can see Mr. Tot is bringing down some infantry to deal with the rest of these Hiri Bang. And just all across, pretty much, it's swayed back in favor of the dwarves. The Galadrim veteran warriors are still standing strong, and this unit of spearmen is okay due to the support of these Elven archers. But Yeah, it looks like these Sylvan Elves are pretty much all but destroyed now. The percentage is now 50% to 51%, so it's still very, very close. This was a very close battle. Yep, okay, so now Henny Dower from Mosler are being brought forward. But again, I feel like they should just bring forward everything. If they're going to bring forward archers, I feel like they should just bring forward everything. Because archers, you know, you can throw them away if you want to, but they actually, especially high elven, well, not high elven, but especially archers just in, well, elven archers just in general, can do a very good job of patching up your main battle line if it starts to wear thin. So I feel it is kind of a waste to just throw away your archer units like this. Yeah, especially because you can see these Hiri Bang are just getting absolutely butchered by the Emirs of Gunabad. Actually, no, I take it back. They actually have been getting a couple kills. Yeah, not bad actually. The Henny Dower, however, will, yeah, they're already shaken. They're not going to do well at all against the airborne infantry. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Dark Elven King looks like he's bringing forward a couple units of Elven Spearmen. But again, just attacking in waves is not going to work out for you in the long run. And yes, when you attack everything at once, it does definitely... Oh, okay, yeah, that's what Mudslayer has been doing. He's bringing his cavalry around this way, and looks like he's been cycle charging into the back of these units. But yeah, so charging everything forward at once does definitely blow up your troops, and opens you up for missile fire of all sorts. But when you're fighting against dwarves, one of the main things you have to do is just try to overwhelm them, which is hard playing as the elves, but it is still possible. So yeah, I feel like they probably should just push forward everything, but I'm not too positive if they will. Okay, yeah, Mr. Todd's Mithril Guard is now here, and you can see that these Sylvan Elves have been almost completely dealt with. No, it looks like they have been completely dealt with. I take it back. Except for, yeah, just a couple spearmen, 18 left to be exact. And are the Galadrim veteran warriors still alive? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, yep, this unit of Hammers of Gundabad by Mr. Todd is going to be brought around into the backs of these elderly spearmen. Oh yeah, and the Galadrim veteran warriors looks like have been pulled out of the fray. But now it looks like they're going back into it. Okay, yep, okay. Now it looks like Modslayer 2 is going to push forward the rest of his army. It looks like he's going to do maybe, yeah, looks like he might do a final charge with everything. And so, yeah, you can see Mr. Tot trying to prepare for that, bring forward some Cousin Reclaimers, some airborne infantry, and the like. The Sins of Durin are, ooh, just destroying these poor Hiri Bang.
Defeat seems almost certain.
It's 59 to 57, so it's still very close. Okay, yes, these Galadrim veteran warriors are trying to help out their High Elven allies because these two units of spearmen are going to be cut down quite easily when they're surrounded by Hammers of Gundabad, Sons of Durin, and Dragon Slayers of Ered Mithrin. Oh, however, you can see that Galadrim veteran warriors are taking a beating by the Sons of Durin as well. And the Elven nobles are charging into the backs of these Hammers of Gundabad, which is a great idea by Dark Elven King, because this far out from their camp, the Hammers of Gundabad won't be able to get very much support. However, yeah, it looks like the axe throwers are still within range of the cavalry, even when they are charging. Okay, yep. Here comes 2 units of Elven Swordsmen from Dark Elven King, trying to support his spearmen. Ooh, look at this horrendous battle line, though. The poor Sylvan Elves got butchered, but so did the... To tell the truth, the Dwarves actually took quite a lot of losses here, too, I believe. Okay, yeah, there goes the loss of Lorraine General. Donald Kingslayer, yeah, okay, yeah, the Lothlorien has been completely defeated now. Okay, looks like Mr. Tot is now pushing forward out of his camp. Yeah, he is. He's going to push forward out of his camp, and looks like he's going to try to meet the Woodland Realms infantry head on. So Mudslayer actually still does have a quite healthy cav force. He still has his Elder Kingsguard as well as a very healthy unit of Elder Pathfinders. Over here, though, you can see Dark Elven King only has his Nolder Elder Nobles, his Smiths of Eregion, Lost Lords, and Tunes of Sindar Blade Masters. Everything else is just right over here. However, if he's not careful, he's going to be all of his units right here are going to be surrounded, which is what the Grinch and Donald Kingslayer, I'm sure, is what they're trying to do as they bring forward these units of infantry right here. Yep, these Dwarven noblemen are charging straight into the back of these Elder Swordsmen, and these Hammers of Gundabat are charging right to the side. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay, yep. So it looks like Mr. Todd is actually charging forward. The Dwarves are starting to actually... Looks like all across the board, the Dwarves are actually starting to come out from their very heavily fortified camp. You can see the Sons of Durin charging straight into these Hiridirith, and yeah, the Hiridirith will not be able to do very well against these Sons of Durin at all. Same goes for the Airborne Infantry and Khazad-dûm Reclaimers. Or no, Guards of Khazad-dûm. They will absolutely butcher these Hiridirith. They will be able to hold for a while, but not very long. And these pikemen, these are very, very good pikemen, but I feel like he probably... Ooh, a nice charge straight into the backs of those Axemen of Erebor, almost completely destroying the unit. So an excellent, excellent charge from the Elder's Kingsguard by Mudslayer. But yeah, these pikemen are very good. However, since they're only in a row of 2, they will be able to get pushed through somewhat easily by these Dwarven noblemen. And it looks like these Hiranak are chasing down the Airborne Infantry, as well as the Hirilang. Okay, yep, so some Mithril Guard are being pushed forward, some Axemen of Erebor, Sons of Durin. Okay, yeah. And now, to tell the truth, Dark Elven King doesn't have very much left either, but it's still close, 70% to 63%. The only thing the Dark Elven King has left now are his, essentially just his elites. He has 2 units of Cinder Blade Masters, Nolder Elder Nobles, False Lords, and Smiths of Eregion is all that he has left. Over here, though, you can see some Hiranak and Hirilang fighting against the Airborne Infantry and Mithril Guard, as well as some Axemen of Erebor. Over here, though, actually the Hiridirith are... Oh, yeah, they were at 52, now they're all the way down to 26. The Avari Elder Pikemen have been broken through. There are only 30 of them left. And these Hiranak are beginning to fight against this depleted unit of Axemen of Erebor. Over here, though, if Mudslayer 2... If they want to win, they really have to utilize the cavalry that they have left, because the Dwarves have no cavalry left. So if they don't utilize their own cavalry, they will be defeated. Okay, so a nice flanking charge here by the Sindar Blade Masters. I believe he had them hidden up here, which is a very good idea. So now they're going to charge straight into the backs of these Axemen of Erebor. Nope, never mind. I take it back. There, it looks like they might... Maybe... You know, they're just going to run away. No? Okay, they're going to fight against these Mithril Guard. That's not going to be a winning fight for them, but they will be able to take a pretty good chunk out of the Mithril Guard, hopefully. Yeah, okay, so now that the Dwarves have pretty much dealt with Lothlorien and most of the High Elves, it seems now like they are going to come out. Yeah, now they're starting to take the offensive.
They have lost half their men.
Oh yeah, the Smiths of Eregion are charging into the backs of these Mithril Guard, which is a good idea because the Smiths of Eregion are AP. So they will be able to do quite well against the Mithril Guard. And, well, just all 3 of these units actually right here. And, yeah, so the Grinches bring forward Khazad Sentries, Sons of Fallen, Airborne Infantry. He's pretty much just bringing forward everything he has left. It looks like the camp of the Dwarves has been pretty much abandoned. Yeah, they've moved everything out. It is 68% to 78%. So now the Dwarves are starting to pull ahead. Okay. Looks like... No, I was going to say maybe a charge from the Pathfinders, but no. Oh, here's a charge by the Kingsguard, though. Trying to help out these Cinder Blade Masters. Oh, yeah, so the Cinder Blade Masters who were fighting the Mithril Guard actually did not do very well. They only killed about 3, and they lost their entire unit. And his other, Cinderblade Masters are now fighting against the Guards of Khazad-dûm. And they seem to be faring a little bit better against the Guards of Khazad-dûm than the Mithril Guard. And these Khazad-dûm Reclaimers are throwing their axes into the Elder Kingsguard. And oh yeah, this is a tough position too, because if he moves his spearman to face the nobleman, then he opens himself up to a flank by the dwarven units. But I feel like he probably should just do it anyway, because his main battle line is pretty much gone, except for this little area right here. Okay, yeah, so it looks like this unit. Oh man, I feel bad for the. I kind of feel bad for the Elves, because they had to face 3 units of Mithril Guard. They've pretty much dealt with 2. This one still has 11, but that other one is still completely healthy. Then again, if you look at it the other way, I also feel bad for the Dwarves, just because they have to face against Noldor Elder Nobles, Fallis Lords, Elder Palace Guard, which have yet to be seen in the battle, and Gladrim Veteran Warriors. So, ooh, okay, the Hiryu are taking horrendous casualties, looking. Ooh, I don't know what they were trying to do. Looks like they were trying to push through, but they just got absolutely butchered. Okay, yeah, so the only things of the elves that is right here now are the Huronak and the Smiths of Arisen. And they are now pretty much completely surrounded. However, the Elder Pathfinders and Elder Kingsguard are still just cycle charging like crazy into the dwarves, which is very, very good. You can see the Mithril Guard are actually taking quite a lot of losses to the cycle charges from the Kingsguard. Okay, yeah, so now it's still 10%. The dwarves are still quite ahead, ways ahead in terms of balance of power. Well, I guess percentage kills, that's not really balance. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what that man is doing. Okay, he's dead now. The noblemen are still fighting against the Huronak Spearmen here. This unit of noblemen from the Grinch is trying to chase down the Elder Pathfinders, but they're really gonna have a tough time of it, because the dwarves are so slow already that they're just really not gonna have a chance of catching up with the cavalry. Ooh, but they took a horrendous charge by the Kingsguard right there, and the Pathfinders have charged right into the backs of these units here, which is a very smart idea, because the dwarves are starting to thin right here, but so are the elves. I mean, the elves only have the Huronak here. I believe that was the Lothlorien player, by the way, who was admitted defeat. It looks like the Smiths of Arisen. Yeah, there's only 7 of them left. So, yeah, I believe if he wants to win this fight here, he's going to definitely have to cycle charge like crazy right into that area. But also, same goes for this area. I mean, he only has 1 unit here, an Experiment here. Yeah, there's the Elder Palace Guard. Okay, over here you can see that Dark Elven King has committed the last of his infantry, which is the 2 units of Cinderblade Masters, his Noldor Elder Nobles, and his Fallis Lords, who have surrounded and completely destroyed this unit of Sons of Fallen pretty much. So yeah, Dark Elven King doesn't have much left, but it still is very elite. I believe he has the largest army now. Well, Modslayer 2 still has a little bit left, but his cavalry, you can see, is definitely very depleted. This unit is down to 6, and that unit is down to 5. These Spearmen are still actually holding quite strong against the Mithril Guard, Noblemen, Hammers of Gundabat, and Ironfoot Axe Throwers. Okay, now it's within 9%, so the Elves are starting to kind of bring it back. But the main thing that the Dwarves still have left is they have a lot of crossbows left. They have 3 units of crossbows. These units are pretty depleted, especially this one, but this one is still quite healthy. You can see these Khazad-dûm Reclaimers. Yeah, okay. So now that the Huronak Spearmen over here have been completely dealt with, the Grinch and Mr. Tots units over here are now going to fight against Dark Elven King's High Elven Army. Or what's left of it, anyway. You can see the Fallis Lords are in Shield Wall. They're going to be the main center, like holding force of what is left of Dark Elven King's army. And the Cinderblade Masters and Noldor Elder Nobles are just going to try to... I assume they're going to try to flank around, or just, just hold. Fallis Lords are charging into these Sons of Durin. Into some fleeing troops in here, an Experiment, and some Cinderblade Masters. Okay, yep. Okay, now Mod Slayer is bringing forward his Elder Palace Guard. Now, okay, now it's back within 10%. Oh yeah, the Elder Nobles. Are they gonna charge into the? Yeah, they're gonna charge into the flank. These. Okay, no, I was hoping they might. Yeah, maybe be able to hide and ambush, but no, they weren't able to. So he's just trying to flank around these units right here with the Elder Nobles. These Cinderblade Masters, however, are just going to have to fight head-on against the Khazad-dûm Reclaimers and Pikemen. Otherwise, they would just get. Otherwise, if they didn't, it would open up these Frost Lords and Elder Nobles to being flanked, which looks like is what is about to happen right here to these Elder Nobles. So yeah, Dark Elven King is going to move forward his Cinderblade Masters, who will have a very tough time against these Dragon Slayers and Guards of Khazad-dûm, even if they are very depleted. Now over here, if I were Mod Slayer, I would probably go after the crossbows. Just even though there is still a lot of infantry right here, I might either go after the crossbows or just go help out Dark Elven King, because essentially these crossbows are the most killing power that the dwarves have left, because with the rest of their infantry they can just tangle up the elven forces, and then they can just crossbow everyone to, they can just crossbow all the elves to death. Okay, yeah, so there goes the last dwarven general. There are still both of the other elven generals are still alive. Here's Dark Elven Kings and Mod Slayers in that unit right there. Yes, the Cinderblade Masters have had a tough time of it against these Dragon Slayers and Guards of Khazad-dûm, but they have taken a decent chunk out of these depleted Dwarven elites. Over here, however, these Cinderblade Masters are having a worse time of it against the Khazad Sentries and the Khazad-dûm Reclaimers. You can see that these 8 Ironfoot crossbowmen, the Grinch is going to set them up right here essentially and just shoot square into the back of those False Lords, which I thought that was actually kind of funny because, you know, it's just like a point blank shot right there, and there's really nothing that Dark Elven King to do to stop it. Besides charge these Cinderblade Masters that were fighting the pikemen anyway. They're just running straight at him. Okay, there we go. And so, yeah, there go all the crossbowmen that were behind. Okay, yeah, so right here, Dark Elven King has pretty much won, but you can see these, in the center anyway, but on both flanks, oh, no, I take it back. On the right flank, he has also won, but on the left flank, he is, not doing too well. Where are the Elder Palace Guard? They're right here, actually. They're fighting against Mithril Guard. Yeah, just the Mithril Guard and some Ironfoot Axe Throwers. But you can see that since the Elder Palace Guard are completely fresh and the Mithril Guard are depleted, the Mithril Guard will be defeated. That kind of rhymed. I'm sorry about that. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna stop talking. Yeah, the Mithril Guard is all the way down to a 9 already. I think we'll go over here to the main fight. Okay, yeah. So this is just the last. This is the last of Dark Elven King's troops. He has these 20 Cinderblade Masters, these 6, the False Lords, and the Elder Nobles, which are down to 14. And you can see some hammers of good and bad from Donald Kingslayer have been brought forward to help fight in this area. If I were him, I probably would have brought them around and tried to flank around completely. But he just committed them straight into the front line. So 91 to 96, the Elves have definitely brought it back. It was within 10%, now it's within 5%. You can see 1 unit of Ironfoot crossbows going over to the High Elves, and 2 being brought over to the Woodland Realms, because the Woodland Realms has completely defeated the units right over here. Don't cheer yet, Elves. You haven't won yet. Okay, now I do... Yeah, so there are crossbowmen right here. But essentially, what's going to happen Mod Slayer is going to bring his units, his unit, I should say, of Elder Palace Guard to go help out Dark Elven King. But as soon as they get there, they're probably just going to get shot straight in the back by the crossbows. So what I would do, even though you would be subject to maybe 1 or even 2 point blank volleys, I would probably just charge head on into those Ironfoot crossbowmen in loose formation, because they are Elder Palace Guard, they will be able to take out the crossbows in melee very, very quickly. So yeah, that's probably what I would do, but you'd have to do it quickly, because as you can see over here, I mean, there still are 25 False Lords, 16 Cinderblade Masters, and 13 older Elder Nobles, but still, there still is quite a lot of good Dwarven infantry right here. Okay, yeah, that doesn't help. There goes the High Elven General. There still are 10 other older Elder Nobles, but still. Ironfoot Halberds. There's the crossbowmen, but they won't be able to fire actually unless they go all the way around, just because the units they're trying to fire at are too close to their own units. However, yeah, these Elder Palace Guard, if they go into the backs of these units, then they will be able to fire at them. But yeah, they definitely brought it back. Now it's within 4%, 97 to 93. So yeah, I just don't even want to talk about camping anymore. Very quickly though, we will just pause it and just take a kind of a look over the complete death and destruction that has been wrought by the Dwarves versus Elves. I believe in actual Tolkien lore that Dwarves versus Elves did happen, but it was either in like the First or the Second Age or something like that. So a long time before Third Age, but still. Ooh, yeah, a lot of dead people. Well, not. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Wow. Okay. And then I'll have cavalry over there. So yeah, a very, very bloody battle to be sure. Yeah, so they're gonna charge into the flanks of these this infantry right here, but you can see they're already getting shot like crazy. So I feel like he probably would have been better just to charge straight into the crossbows, because I feel like the Fallas Lords and just everything over here would have been able to hold. Hopefully, you just have to hope that they would be able to hold long enough for you to deal with the crossbows. But yeah, so he's just gonna charge them straight into the back of the infantry. However, you can see they are already down to 18. They were at like 29 when they started marching over here, but now they're all the way down to 16 just because of the crossbow fire. So this is pretty much just the last stand of the Elves. You can see it's 98 to 95 now. So I think we'll just sit here for now. Yeah, it was definitely a really close battle. I really hope I will be able to take part in the sieges for the second and third parts of the Dwarves vs. Elves series. Palace Guard are down to 10 now. Only 3 Noldor Elder Nobles, 1 Dragon Slayer. Some couple random airborne infantry, some Hammers of Gundabad, Ironfoot Axe Throwers, and a couple pikes, it looks like. 7 Elder Palace Guard now. Oh, was that? Yeah, it looks like the Noldor Elder Noble just took out the last Dragon Slayer, as well as an Axe Thrower. Oh, and there goes another Axe Thrower from the same Noldor Elder Noble. And there goes the Mod Slayers to a General, because he got sniped by the crossbows. So you can see right here that the Elves would have won probably in this little last infantry fight, but you can see that there are a large number of crossbows left, so they will be able to just essentially shoot down the last of the Elves.
Our men have fought long and are becoming tired.
Also, just if the Dwarves do win the next time, like, it's a 3-part series, probably, the Elves vs. Dwarves, But it's not going to be like its best out of 3. If the dwarves win again, I still will play it, or I still will upload the last battle. Only 2 Elder Palace Guard left, and so I think we're just going to speed it up because it is just what's left right here, and then they're just going to get shot to death by the crossbows. Ooh.
The battle seems to have turned against us. We must act and halt this turn of events. Our men are fleeing the battle. Rally them.
Yep, okay, so that is pretty much the end of the battle. It was definitely a very, very close one. Again, big thank you to Dark Elven King for sending me the replay, and a thank you to all the players who were involved. So yeah, this actually was it was just really, really close. 100 to 96%. So yeah, it was within 4%, which you don't see too often in a lot of multiplayer battles. A lot of the times it's like, within like 10, 20%, or it's just a complete crushing. But yeah, it was very, very fun to commentate over, and a very fun battle to watch. Well, watch and commentate over, I should say, because I did both. I didn't just commentate over nothing. Okay, so the most kills for the Elves goes to Modslayer 2 with 907, and the most kills for the Dwarves goes to Donald Kingslayer with 1,064. Dark Elven King got 844 kills, Master Blaster 716, Mr. Tot got 671, the Grinch got 836, and we can go ahead and look over the actual exact statistics. So, Nolder Elder Nobles got 117, and I believe that is the most kills that any of his units got. Yes, not far behind were the Elder Nobles with 99. 93 for the Sindar Blade Masters, and that is pretty much it for this battle. So yes, this will be a 3-part series. This was the pitch battle of it, and then there will be an Elven defense of a siege and an Dwarven defense of a siege, with like Elven attackers attacking the Dwarven defenders and Dwarven attackers attacking the Elven defenders. But anyway, yeah. So I hope you guys did enjoy this battle. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you did. And farewell wherever you fare, till your eyes receive you at your journey's end.